Hello, Mission Squirrel. I'm your fearful leader, Q, and today we're gonna look at some more extremely painfully bad creepypastas. They're gonna be insane. I just want to prepare you. They're pretty crazy. The story is called Fat Bat Freddy. Young Freddy Harland, a morbidly obese 15-year-old kid. Okay, this could literally be my origin story, name and everything. From northern Kentucky, was always alone and bullied. No matter how much he tried to fit in, he could never find acceptance from anyone. He found comfort in his trusty baseball bat that his grandpa gave him. He would spend hours in his front yard singing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" as he pathetically threw his ball up in the air to hit it. This naturally caused him to appear more crazy to his peers and, well, the neighborhood. So much, in fact, that his parents were being questioned by concerned and nosy neighbors. After his fourth attempt to try out for the local baseball team, he was told that he was simply too fat to be on the team. Sobbing and dragging his beloved baseball bat behind himself on his walk back from home, he was greeted in the distance by some players from the team, inviting him over to play, which excited Freddy as he gleefully ran to play a game with his possible new friends. Everything was going fine. They laughed, ran bases, and Freddy even scored his first home run. Then, without warning, one of the boys yelled to Freddy, "Hey, duck, fatty!" as his beloved baseball bat was slammed right into his face, knocking him to the new blood-spattered grass. As the boys took turns beating in his face with such cruel bravado, they screamed, "Die, fat boy," and "You don't deserve to breathe, wide load," and "Death to the lard." Fucking Jesus Christ! Okay, I'm gonna try to hold it in. I can make it through this story. The boys beat poor Freddy until his head was fully caved in. They then shoved an old black, greasy garbage bag over his almost non-existent head and buried him in a shallow grave under an old oak tree just outside the school's baseball field. Several months pass by, and the police have finally given up Freddy for dead. The parents grieved, but eventually were able to smile again. The boys who murdered him, Trevor, Chad, Keith, Robin, and Sky, were laughing and told everyone about how they killed Fat Bat Freddy, as the school jokingly began to know him as. Even the teachers were laughing about Freddy's gruesome and pointless death, saying things like, "Well, at least he didn't have to end his own life," and "That's what I call weight loss." Oh yes, the school was happy he died in such a fashion. About 3 weeks later during lunch, everything was normal. It was noon and the sun was shining. An announcement came on the school speakers. In a low and distorted voice, the song "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" slowly began to be sung as the doors locked and the lights dimmed until it was as dark as midnight in a blindfold. As the song became louder, the sounds of a wooden bat clanked and clunked slowly towards the locked cafeteria. The screams of panic from the students and faculty rang out through the walls, but all got silent as the big door slowly crept open, revealing an obese boy holding a bloody wooden baseball bat, parts of his own face and hair still stuck to it, and a dirty black garbage bag on his head. Slowly, as the door shut, screams echoed and silence was achieved. When the police arrived on scene, it was a horrid display of an orgy of violence. Everyone had their faces bashed in so bad they were just filled with goo and bloody, dirt-crusted footprints on the ground, slowly leading to each victim. The only thing that gave the police any clue was the hastily scribbled note on the cafeteria wall in blood that said, "Fat Bat Freddy is back, and he is very mad." The police searched the woods to see if the murderer fled to there. All they found was what appeared to be an open grave under an old oak tree, with a corpse of one of the boys from the cafeteria in it, propped up in a sitting position, his face smashed in completely, and a note that simply says, "I am free now, and I will return very soon." The note was signed simply, Freddy. This story is so fucking batshit insane, I cannot even believe it. Like, the teacher's laughing at his death, being like, hey, at least he didn't do himself in. That's what I call weight loss. Like, I feel like this was either written by somebody who despises fat people so deeply, or somebody who actually thinks that everybody hates them for being fat. Like, I don't think this story just comes out of nowhere as a fun thought experiment. Somebody's got an experience with fatness to have written this story. Okay, this story is called Channel 10,000, and I just need to criticize it right off the bat. The story opens with a section that completely spoils the main part of the story. Don't do that in your creepypastas. Just some advice. Also, just a fair warning, I know this is a horror video, but you might not be expecting exactly this. There's some serious graphic imagery in this story, and some of it is involving kids. There's no, like, really bad stuff, but just, like, gore imagery and shit, so be warned if you're not into that sort of thing. Hello, my name is Mark. My last name isn't important, but I'm going to tell you about a horrible experience I just had on my TV. It was the most awful display of blood, death, and destruction I've ever seen. So before you close out of this window and think, "Pfft, this is baloney," just hear me out. A few nights ago, I was watching my dish TV. I was browsing through the channels when I noticed there was no channel 10,000. Naturally, my curiosity got the best of me, and I called to see what was the reason for not having a channel 10,000. Hello, this is Dish Network. Hi, my name is Mark, and I want to ask a question. Okay, go ahead. Why is there no channel 10,000 in the guide? Hello? Please, for your sake, do not look for that channel. He immediately hung up. I thought nothing of it, and yet something in my gut was telling me not to look for it. I tried to keep my curiosity content for a few nights, but one day I just thought, what could happen? So I began searching in the guide for the channel. I even tried searching for it on Google, Bing, Ask.com, and a ton of other search engines. They all had no results. Finally, when I was just about to give up, something weird happened. The power went out. I looked at the fuse box in the basement to see if I had blown a fuse, but all of them were still functioning. I just thought that someone or something must have cut the line. So I just waited in the dark for about 5 minutes. However, during those minutes, I kept hearing a strange noise in the back of my head. It was like a faint gurgling or screaming, as if someone was drowning. I still thought nothing of it. I just thought I was hearing things. Then, all of a sudden, I heard a voice who sounded like the man from Dish. I saw a shadowy figure standing outside my window. The voice said, "I warned you, and you didn't listen." Then the power finally turned back on. When it turned on, the TV also turned on by itself. At first the screen was scrambled. It started to form the normal Dish guide. I looked at the remote, and I noticed that there was nothing on it except for a select button. Not even the Dish logo was on it. It also didn't even have holes for the other buttons. I knew that something was off. I looked at the guide only to find that there was only one channel, 10,000. The text below the number was an unknown language. I just couldn't resist. I had finally found the channel I had been looking for, so what was holding me back? Why wouldn't I press that damn button? I finally pressed the select button to see what the channel was like. Then when I looked, it was just static. I just thought that the content was deleted. I watched for a few more minutes to see if anything would happen. I was about to get up and leave when the static on the screen started to turn to a sickly shade of dark red. Then it started to move in a strange way. It seemed almost as if it were alive. I then thought that something really was going to happen. It then cut to another scene for a few seconds. It was horrible, but this was only the beginning of the torment. It was a scene of a little boy who had to be no more than 3. He was horribly cut and bruised. One of his limbs appeared to be missing. He also then appeared to have a torn-off jaw. He was vomiting. But what was even more horrible was that he was puking blood. Thick, red, chunky blood. At the last second of the scene, he started to throw up organs. It then cut back to static. It was playing the sound of a boy vomiting and screaming and crying in pain and agony. I couldn't take much more of this, even though it had only been a few minutes. How much longer was I gonna have to watch this thing? What the hell was going on? After a few more minutes of static, it cut to commercials. These seemed normal for a change. When it returned to the static, I kept thinking that more hellish things were going to happen. I couldn't take much more of the suspense when it suddenly showed a scene of a mutilated body of a little kid that appeared to be a girl. Almost all of her flesh was missing. All of her organs were still active and pumping. I could hear the sickening sound of blood gushing everywhere, and all of her organs still moving. And worse, I could hear her screaming and crying in pain as the cries were gradually getting weaker and weaker. Then a large boot covered in organ and blood chunks stepped on her head. Blood and brain particles went everywhere on the floor, on the walls, and onto my floor? I couldn't stop thinking what the hell was happening. I looked away from the screen when I saw my room was being transformed. Everything had blood on the walls, and veins were protruding from the floor. I thought that this must be a dream. I closed my eyes as hard as I could, but something was making me watch. It was awful. Make it stop. Kept seeing dead, mutilated bodies of so many innocent people. When is this hellish nightmare going to end? I saw veins bursting, organs exploding. I saw guts and bones and all the remnants of bodies spewing into my room when I saw it switch back to a blank black screen. Then it faded to the final scene. It was just a tombstone. It had my name on it, though, and what was even weirder was that the date was today. Then the camera lifted upwards, revealing a robed figure holding a knife of some sort. He then said to me, "Hello, Mark. I am what waits in store for you when you die. This is what happened when the souls are forced into our world. All of these tortured souls' lives end in suffering and tragedy. Wait until you see what happens to you. Since the creators of this channel all know that death is overrated, we won't kill you. You'll be the one that decides that. Goodbye, Mark. We will see you soon." Then it just switched back to the normal dish television guide, and my room had reverted back to normal. Even so, I couldn't forget how much blood, death, and destruction I had just seen in 15 short minutes. And that's how I came to be right now. I locked myself in my room, turned off the TV, and I'm just sitting in the corner of my room with a pistol in my hand, just sobbing. I can't take much more of the suspense. What's going to happen to me? Wait, I have the pistol. Maybe if I just put it in my mouth, pulled the trigger, and yeah, I'll finally be rid of all this suspense and paranoia, even though a terrible fate awaits me. Goodbye. Alright, and here's the spoiler-filled intro. Channel 10,000 is a banned Dish Network channel that is believed to be linked to hell. Only one person viewed the channel named Mark, who believed to have died from a heart attack. But in reality, I know he watched that channel. Below is his article on what he saw. Oh, I've got a little bit to say about Channel 10,000. The name definitely intrigued me a lot, and I think that some of the lead up was pretty good, like specifically the idea of like looking down at your television remote and it's just a single big button. Like, I feel like that would be pretty uncanny and creepy if it actually happened to you. But then everything after that point was just fucking horrendous. Like, it's like they were just like, what's scary? Oh, blood and guts, but how do you make that even scarier and more disgusting? Oh, if it's happening to children. And then, like, the ending decision of he's like, oh, might as well just end my own life at this point now that I know that once I die, I will be tortured and disemboweled for eternity? Like, why would you choose to check out at that point? Why not just, like, try and get something out of life while you have some decent time left? And then the fact that in the intro, they're saying they believed that he died from a heart attack. So did he, like, do himself in, or did he die from a heart attack? Are the police in on it? Is Dish Network in on it? Is there some grander conspiracy? I need a follow-up story. This story is called Hallucinations. Hello, diary. This is me once again, reporting in. Today I decided to exit my shelter and return to the world I left behind to find any evidence of other human beings. But no. The only living beings I found were those who had been left unhurt, the animals. But something's different about them. They have been, I don't know, brainwashed or programmed to stalk me. Some of the animals follow me, stare at me, or hop aimlessly around me. They also have the emotion that I've been not able to restore, happiness. Even though they ignore what happened, my only friend in this world is the collection of paper, what I would like to call my diary. Screw it, what the hell am I talking about? This is a hallucination I am in. But I've not been able to deal with this world. But this place is so unreal that the only way to explain this place is a hallucination. The nature has also changed. The trees, the ground, the water-formed stones. They all seem to defy the laws of gravity and physics. Thank you, Sweden, for breaking the laws. The terrain has also turned weird, almost symmetrical, and it haunts me everywhere I go. Everywhere I go. But I have to put down what I saw on my adventure out. After hours of camping and a long night outside, I found a cave that had been left untouched by nature's right hand. It was completely spotless. Inside the cave I found a small table, on which was a piece of paper and pictures of small mythical eyeless creatures. The piece of paper was eerie, with writings about the creature and the pictures even more disturbing. I wanted to get out of that place as soon as possible. Hello again, diary. I just want to scream and break away from this world. This place is stressful and frustrating. The animals stare at me with an even more drilling look. The symmetrical terrain gets more creepier and even more hallucinogenic now that I've found out that this world has limits and borders. I am in psychological jail. I am limited to this world, but I know that one day I will break through to the other side of this world. Hello, diary. I've had enough of this hellhole. I'm escaping to freedom and going on an adventure to find an exit. But to anyone that finds this diary, I'm leaving you a note with some useful information. Thank you and goodbye. Aftermath. That person was found dead under a cliff surrounded by animals that kept staring at him for no good reason. But what was written on that note? The note. Hello, fellow being. If you are reading this, then you need to escape. Escape as far as the eye could see, because you are trapped and want to get out of here. I left some tools and some food under the table in a chest. I also found a small psychological tip to keep you entertained during the time here. Just call this place Minecraft. That should keep you going. Well, I'm going now. Bye. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, the first time I read this story, I was actually, like, mind blown, like, holy shit, it was Minecraft the whole time, but, like, I don't know, overall the story, it wasn't that bad. I do dislike the aftermath section when it's, like, it switches perspectives and it's like, oh, now we're looking from outside the person's perspective. But the Minecraft twist it worked on me. It definitely made the story much less scary, but I don't even know if this story's trying to be scary, to be honest. We might have just gotten deeply, deeply baited. Hey, if you want more bad, creepy stories, there's a card that's going to pop up on the top right corner of your screen. I'd like to give a major shout out to Hannah, Matthew Kendall, Caitlin, Beth the Dork, Ashton Jacobson, June, Mega Mander, Alicia, Catco, Kennedy DeSilvis, Tapey, Hyper Ninja Child, Jared D, Regrettable Stitches, Allison B, Fiona Fox, Kaya Bay, and Brittany, as well as everyone else you see on your screen for being top tier channel members. Thank you all very much. And yeah, I hope you guys are skating on to the best of your abilities, drinking a sufficient amount of water, and taking care of yourselves and the people around you. I'll see you super soon. Peace out, Cub Scouts.